A second objection that could be given to the slant that I'm putting on the Solomon and Queen of Sheba story is it really fair to expect to have such high expectations of Solomon? Someone could say, you, Zach, are coming at this story as a 21st century Christian. You have the Christian Bible, you have the Great Commission of Jesus, go and make disciples of all nations. You have 500 years of Protestant missionary efforts where people are taking the initiative to cross over land and sea and bring the gospel to faraway nations. And is it really fair for you to say things like Solomon should have sent a contingency of Levites to teach Torah to the Queen of Sheba's territory? And my answer to that is that I've got three reasons here why Solomon really should have known better. I think should have performed better than what we see. First, in Deuteronomy 17, the very passage that we just read, that were the laws of the laws of the kings of Israel that Solomon broke one by one. We stopped at verse 17, but right after that is another law for the kings of Israel. It's not clear whether Solomon kept this or not. When he, the king of Israel, sits on the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself in a book a copy of this law, approved by the Levitical priests. Couple translation issues here. It could be translated, he shall write, or the Levitical priests may be the ones who write the law for him. Law is, the word in Hebrew there is Torah, and so the most common interpretation is that this means the entire 5 books of Moses. That's what this law, this Torah. In any case, it shall be with him, and he shall read it in all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord by keeping all the words of this Torah and all these statutes and doing them, that his heart may be not lifted up above his brothers, that he may not turn aside from the commandment, either to the right or to the left, that he may continue long in his kingdom, he and his children in Israel. So, few translation issues aside, it seems clear that the king was to have his own special copy, likely written by his own hand, which would instill it even deeper, but at least he should have his own personal copy of the Torah so that he could be reminded of it every day and learn to fear the Lord and keep the whole will of God. So if Solomon has a personal copy of the Torah, especially if it's written by his own hand, he's going to know Genesis chapter 1, key text, verse 28, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. God's plan for humanity from the beginning was for the glory of God, his image bearers, to fill the whole earth. Solomon would have known the Abrahamic covenant of Genesis 12, blessed to be a blessing. He would have known that when God appeared to Moses at Sinai, at the very institution of Israel as a nation, and in some sense the marriage ceremony between God and his people, Exodus 19, that the calling was, you'll be my treasured possession. I will make you into a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That this was the calling. The calling of Israel was to fulfill was to be a kingdom of priests, to mediate God's blessings to all the nations of the earth so that the creation mandate could be fulfilled. Solomon would have known all of these things. Now, did Solomon write a copy of the Torah? Did he read his personal copy day by day? Maybe. I mean, he shows a lot of, and of course, again, we know that Solomon wrote 3 books of the Bible himself, so has a lot of biblical knowledge. But then he's a very mysterious figure, because for somebody who's so wise and knows so much of the Bible, did he know? How did he know Deuteronomy 17 and yet go and break every one of those commandments? There's various theories on what exactly went wrong there. Was he flagrantly disobeying them? Was he thinking that he maybe could obey the spirit of them without avoiding the consequences? Like, the man that says, I'm going to stare at a woman, but I'm not going to lust after her. Solomon thinking, I'm going to take 700 wives, but I won't let them lead me astray. That's one of the theories of the rabbis in the Talmud. In any case, though, Solomon had every reason that he should have known the Torah, should have known God's plan was for blessing all nations. Now, even if we didn't buy into that indirect argument, we have two very much more direct arguments, which are the words of Solomon himself in Psalm 72, Psalm of Solomon. After praying for the blessings to be upon the king of Israel, he says, "Blessed be the glorious name of the Lord. Blessed be his glorious name forever. May the whole earth be filled with his glory." It sure looks right there that Solomon was familiar with Genesis 1:28, that God's plan was for the whole earth to be filled with his glory. Solomon wrote it with his own hand, and Solomon spoke with his own mouth. When the foreigner comes, hear their prayer, in order that all the peoples of the earth may know your name and fear you. There again, it certainly seems that that they may fear you, as do the people of Israel, that they may know that this house in Jerusalem is called by your name. Certainly seems there that Solomon is familiar with the Abrahamic covenant, that Israel has been blessed in order to be a blessing, that they are a kingdom and a holy nation, to be a kingdom of priests, and to mediate these blessings to all the people of the earth. So by his own words, his own written words, his own spoken words, Solomon shows that he knows that it is God's heart for his glory to be manifest through all the earth. So yeah, I say there's the again the way in which the story is presented. Scripture gives us every reason to say Solomon should have known that it's God's heart for his glory to spread to the families of the earth. And when you get to the end of the Queen of Sheba story, she hasn't prayed at the temple. She's not bringing the message back to the people of her land. Just immediately switch into Solomon's 666 talents of gold, and he's just sitting on his pile of gold coins saying, "Look at how much gold I have. Look at how many wives I have. Look at the horses I brought from Egypt." It certainly, I think it certainly comes across that Solomon had every reason to know better and is culpable for the discrepancy between his own words, not to mention God's words in Scripture, Solomon's own words, and his actions.